Well, hey, thanks for joining me here. I have a situation with my ducks. They have their little home over here, and just moved here recently, and we built them this little spot here. Right now, they have this little duck pond here. Basically, what we have to do is bail it out with a bucket and empty it so that way they can have fresh, clean water all the time. But basically, have to empty it out every couple of days, especially during the summertime because it gets really green. And it's just not really good water for them. So it's kind of a hassle to do that. So what we did here is at this new house here, we had one of those blue kiddie pools that we used to, and same thing, I put a little drain on it and found a way to empty it pretty easily. But it was still a hassle because you have to hose it out and do all kinds of stuff with it to get it right. So I want to find the easiest way to clean this thing out without having to do very much work at all. It's a little more work up front to get this right, but going forward, I have a feeling this is going to be a whole lot less work. I've had ducks for about 5 years now, and we've kind of seen how they do. They like to really get things really wet and kind of gross everywhere. So we want to see if we can find a way to not only keep it cleaner for them, so it's not as ugly to look at or smelly, or as muddy and mucky water. So what we're going to do here is we decided to build this on a hill. So as you can see here, I got these blocks. Actually, on Craigslist, I got these at a pretty good deal. Someone had some leftovers from a retaining wall they're building. So we got these pretty cheap. I found out the supplier who they got them from, and we had to get a couple extra pieces, some corner pieces and whatnot, just to kind of finish it off. But I'm sure you could do this with cinder blocks or whatever that would be able to retain. But anyway, so basically what I did is we kind of built this wall here, and all the way around we just made sure that it was strong enough and solid enough to hold water. The water wouldn't push it over. So you got to make sure you have a strong foundation down there below, nice and flat. You got to really go through and make sure everything's really nice and flat. If this isn't flat, it's going to perfectly flat, perfectly level, more than anything level across your whole top of this. The water's going to want to rush out one side or the other because obviously the water's going to want to go the path of least resistance. So you just got to make sure this is perfectly level all the way across. So what I did is, after I built the wall all the way around here, I have this kind of covered because I thought about doing a video after I started working on this. I was like, I should probably show this. But you can see I continued this wall around on this side as well. And basically, they're going to come in over here. The ducks will come up the hill. I'll create a path, a fence, and they'll come up this hill and then go right in here, kind of wade in, and then go down, and they'll have their pond. And I have all these capstones that are going to go on top of this. So I'll lay the liner over, and the capstones will go on top of that and kind of hold it all in. But what I did also, so the big thing with this is going to be your drain. I got a big old 3-inch drain here it's like a 45-degree, if you go in there, it's a 45-degree elbow. And then it goes into a pipe, and then as you see down here, I have a big old valve. So basically, all the water will always be inside this pipe. I'm going to cover it so that way during the winter it's not going to freeze over or anything. But when I'm ready to go, all I do is just grab this lever, pull up on it, release all the water. Actually, right now it's down, so the lever's normally up when it's closed. You push it down, all the water comes rushing out. And what I'm actually going to do is as you see here, this kind of got all wet because I was doing a test, but I'm going to end up doing a couple arms off of this with drain pipe, perforated pipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to water this whole little pasture, this whole little area here. It's kind of just a lot of weeds. I'm going to probably end up planting alfalfa and some different stuff in there. I got some bunnies over there as well. So I'll get them some food here, some extra food, some greens that I'll probably just plant in here for the ducks and for the bunnies. So I'm hoping that this will, as you can see already, I've done this test a few times and we're already getting a little bit of greenery here, even though we've had 100-degree temperature. So it's kind of nice. The only thing I'm concerned about is we have manzanita madrone trees, and they don't typically like a lot of water, so I may have issues with that. So we may have to divert it later on, but for now, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, so that's the plan. I'll have this liner will come in here, and I'm going to cut a hole in it. I'll show you how I do that here in a little bit. And then, yeah, so that's the plan. I kind of curved out the bottom. We had a couple spots here on these where there's some pointed parts I didn't want to hurt the pond liner, so I put some spray foam on there to make sure it's not going to harm it. So anyway, that's the project I have going on right now. It's going to look pretty cool when it's done. I'm going to have some more down here. I'm going to have a little pathway that's going to go around, and I'll end up doing a fence kind of covering this up. But you can kind of see how it looks from down below. So anyway, we'll do the next step and show you what's going on. All right, so here is my drain. It's got the 45-degree angle like I mentioned earlier here. I got to clean this out a little bit here and make it a little nicer. But so I took another piece of 3-inch pipe, and what I did is I cut it off, just a small little piece. It doesn't have to be pretty. Probably I kind of came through with a sander, orbital sander, and kind of cleaned up the edges, so there's nothing sharp here. And then on one side right here, as you can see, I pretty aggressively sanded this off, rounded off the edges really nice all the way around on this side here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the liner back in, lay the liner over this whole pond area here. I'm going to lay this liner right here. I'm going to lay it over this, and then I've already marked where the hole is. I put a hole right where the drain is going to be. After I made sure everything is all conformed really nicely in there, I put water in there to kind of make sure it all lays right where I want it to. So I'll put the liner back, and then I'll cut the little hole, just cut a little X in it, enough that I can get this inside that liner. So basically the liner is going to go in here in the hole, and then this one I'm going to put on top of the liner and push it in there and just really wedge it in there nice and tight, so that way it keeps basically keeps the liner in place, keeps it watertight, keeps anything from going in there. I'll probably throw a little bit of ABS glue or something on here just to kind of make sure it stays in there solid. Although I probably won't actually do ABS glue. I'll probably just stick it in there. This thing was holding pretty good earlier, so I'm going to try it without it. I can always pull it back up and replace it, but I want to be able to take this apart later on down the road if I need to. So I think I'm just going to leave it without glue. But yeah, so that's the plan. Put that in there, and what that should do with my drain down there, my handle down there, I'll keep that closed. I'll keep all the water in that pipe, and then whatever I filled this up with up here. So then it should be good to go. I'll get stuff will go in this pipe, which should be no big deal, and just rinse it off because the pipe is so big. I'll just suck it all out. As long as I don't let the water get super dirty, there shouldn't be a whole lot to wash out of here. So probably do it like once a week kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. That's the plan. All right, here's something else I should probably mention is the wet liner I got. So this is for my space, is a 10-foot by 12-foot Beckett pond liner. It's 20 mil. It says for ponds 6 feet to 8 feet. But anyway, so you can get this on Amazon. I just got this actually at Home Depot, but you probably get it cheaper on Amazon. But yes, that's what I'm using here. Something else before I put this liner down, something to kind of be aware of. You really should put something down, maybe put like a liner on top of this, because as you see here, there's all kinds of little rocks, little pebbles and things in here. Most of these will squish down, but some of them they won't. And these will actually, like this rock right here, that will puncture the liner. So you really got to make sure that any kind of twigs, any kind of pieces of bark, anything like that, it's really smooth, because that stuff will end up poking your liner. So if you could actually, it'd be best to put like an underlayment down here, maybe like a layer of sand if you can, that kind of thing, or maybe just another layer of of vinyl or something down there. I know that they actually make, it says it on here, they actually make a something you can put inside there. I forgot where I saw it, but there's an actual a liner that you can put below that to kind of protect it. So all right, but I'm going to do it without it, see what happens, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this ground, actually, the ground we have here, the dirt here is insane how much it retains the water. I almost don't even need a pond liner for this dirt because it's such a moisture holding dirt. It's crazy. Yeah, so I'm gonna do it without it. All right, so now it's the liner is in here, kind of roughly where it was before, and if you can see here, I have the little hole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut. If you look at here, I have, this is where the drain pipe is. You can feel the curve all the way around here where it all wants to go in, and I have that other piece here. So this is going to basically, when I cut it, I'm going to cut a little kind of an X shape enough that I can fit this in there. So you can see this is where the hole is here. That's where I want to go in. So basically I just need to cut it enough inside there that I can get that to go in there and seal it up. So we're gonna give that a try. All right, so I have the little piece in there that I was just showing you. Came out a little more wrinkled up than I thought it was gonna be, but I guess that's kind of how it's gonna have to be. I pounded it in just on the edges or all the way around with the hammer, and you can see it's set pretty well in there. I need to get in there and clean up that little jaggedy in there. That's the ends of the liner that are in there. But yeah, you can see, so basically I did a fold here, up here to the corner. So I folded that under, folded it this way, so that way it's, when it wants to drain, it'll drain down out of that crease, and the same thing on the other side. And then as I fill up the water, this happened before when I did my tests, it was wrinkled in here, and as you get the weight on the pool, on the pond liner, then you can start pulling the edges out and pull it a little tighter and smooth things out, and pull this stuff up away and pull it and kind of get all these wrinkles out of here. So these few wrinkles are probably going to end up staying there, and these two creases will stay there. But the rest of it, we should be able to get it out as the water fills it up and puts weight on that. But anyway, this is how it looks from up above. Just keep the liner longer than you need it, and just come back and we'll trim that all off, and we'll end up burying the ends of it in the dirt, so that way when the ducks come in, they don't trip over it. So we'll basically, I'll dig a hole over there, and then I'll tuck the liner under, excess liner, and then put dirt back on top of it and make it all nice, so that way they don't trip over it. But anyway, yeah, so that's the deal. As you see here, we'll do a little test with the hose here. Spray out some of these things, and the water just rushes right out. So this is what I'll do when the ducks are in here and they create messes in here and it gets algae or whatever, and just come in here and just hose it all out, hose all parts of it, and then just let it run out down the drain. You can see it running down the hill over there. So it'll work out pretty well. So anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with water. I'm gonna close my my valve down there, fill it up with water, and see how it does. One thing I'm gonna do also is I think I'm gonna put, I'm kind of working on this spot down here. I'm gonna do a little pathway that'll go over here that I can walk down, and I'm gonna have these blocks here on a lower level, so they'll be the bottom of my pathway that'll go all the way around. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, when I did my test, this side was a tiny bit low right here, just a little bit lower than the rest. It wasn't quite 100% level. So I did get a little bit of water would come out the top up here and would come over and go down inside my blocks. So I'm gonna put a little drain here inside there, kind of a little mini French drain, I guess, kind of a thing going across here. It'll drain that water out, so that way it won't erode that area. when it goes over. So I'll probably also keep the water level below that so it doesn't ever go over that. But ducks, because of what ducks are, they get crazy, get wild, water sloshes around, it's going to end up going out. So it's a good idea to have that anyway. So all right, we'll go ahead and fill up the water now. Let's go ahead and actually pull this thing up here, close that up, and we'll go up here. We'll start filling this up. So as you see, water will just go in there, fill up that pipe, and then it should start coming up here in the pool here. Probably get it off the spray nozzle so it fills up quicker, but we'll just keep on doing this here just for your so you guys can see what's going on. Yeah, like I said, that's a big old 3-inch pipe because I wanted to be able to just empty this as quick as possible, just flush everything out of here, not have to wait for it to trickle out with like a smaller pipe. So I mean, I would have loved to even have a 4-inch pipe, but I think 3-inch should be fine in this situation. So let's just see what's going on here. So fill this up. Should be coming up here. Should be coming out real soon here. So it's a big pipe, so it may take a while for it to start coming out. Alright, there we go. Starting to back up now. Alright, it's going to start filling up the pond. We're starting to get like a little bit of a little pond action going on down there. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and we'll fill it up, see how it holds. Alright, so got the pond all filled up here, and it's actually the next day, and I've let it kind of just sit and see how it does, and it's held water all night long, all day long, almost 24 hours now, and it looks like it's in really good shape. I just kind of put those capstones on there just to see how it would work, how it looks, but yeah, it seems to be holding really nicely. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain it out just to see how it drains, what it's like, how the water comes out down below, and then I'm going to just fill it back up, and I think I might actually dig out a little bit up here. I think I'm going to have this go a little flatter. I thought the water might come up a little further than it did, so I think I'm going to dig this out a little bit underneath here and make the water go up a little further, have more of a walk-in path. So I'm gonna make those changes, and then but down below I think everything else is in good shape down here. So I'll just trim this liner here so that way it's not all rough. Trim off that side over there, leave this a little long, tuck that into the ground. I'll show you how I do that. But I think that this part down here is in good shape, so I'll drain it, and I'll probably record that later when I drain it. Okay, so I skipped forward a little bit here. As you can tell, I went ahead and emptied out the pool, and I went ahead and came in here and I dug this out deeper. As you can see, the water now goes in a lot further over there because I made it deeper. So now when the ducks come in here to this spot, they come down and they'll come into a little deeper spot, and it's a little deeper in through here. So that way it's more weighting. I mean, they can float around a lot more. There's be a lot more space for the ducks. We have 4 ducks. We may have more down the road, but right now it's 4. But that should give them plenty of room. They have the other one down there that they get 3 ducks in there sometimes. But this will be plenty of room for them to flop around and make all kinds of mess. But yeah, so this is it with the top stones on. You can kind of see how it all lays out. It's not perfectly level, as you can see, but I'd rather this end be a little all the way up. Gives them more room to swim in there. I'm going to end up putting probably some rocks in here, some plants. I'm going to end up tucking this, digging out a little trench, then tucking this all in into the ground here and then put the ground up on top of it. I may end up putting a little bit of concrete right here. Just a nice smooth concrete in this spot. When they wade in, that way this dirt doesn't get all in there and it doesn't get all, it's easy to hose down. So if I do a nice kind of curved concrete going in, it'll make it a lot nicer. Be able to just hose that out when I'm all done, or when I'm all ready to empty the pool. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna show you how quick this empties here. So you can see this is pretty sizable. I'm not sure how much exactly there is, how many gallons are in here. You can see it from down below here how it looks. I'm gonna put these stones here. I'm gonna kind of flatten this out. This is all dirt I took out from inside that I used down here, down below. I'm gonna put these down here below, make a little pathway, and then I'll end up putting a fence here around the side. And then this little drain will be outside the fence. The fence is gonna continue on from this one over here to this, and then it'll go up and over, and then I'll have kind of an angled roof coming up over these guys to protect them from animals. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this little valve here. Let's just see how fast this thing empties out. So let's go ahead and time it here. Ready? So we'll pop that down. Stuff's going pretty quick. I'm gonna have, like I said, I'm gonna end up having I got that little splitter down there. I'll split off into 3 different areas. So it'll come down and it'll water this whole area here. And it'll make it really, it's already kind of starting to get green from the few tests I've done. But you kind of see how it's going here, how quick this is going. So it's been 30 seconds so far. It's already draining pretty quick. 40 seconds. It's 45 seconds now. 50 seconds. That's about 55 seconds. Got about a minute to drain that whole thing. That's pretty cool. So at this point, what I do, I just basically take this, just kind of hose it out, get all the dirt and stuff that they end up putting in the pool. There probably won't be too much, because if I have this border around here, they don't have any dirt they can get in there. And if I make it concrete over there, then they're not going to be tracking a whole lot in. So it's going to stay pretty clean. I'll probably just mostly just a little bit of the poo that goes in there and some leaves that fall in and just dirt. But as you can see, stuff just hoses right out. Just like that. Done. Whole thing cleaned out. What was that? That took about, what, a minute and a half to completely clean that pool? Dramatically different from what it was cleaning that thing, or one of those little kiddie pools and that kind of stuff. That stuff, what a nightmare. So a lot quicker, a lot easier. So I'll give an update once I get it all done. But this just kind of shows you how it works. I mean, it could be good to go right now if we want to put them in here, but I'm going to make it a little nicer and I'll show you the end result. I've had this going for a couple weeks now. Here you can kind of see what's going on with the ducks there in their little pond. They seem to be enjoying it quite a bit. You can see it from down below. I added this lower area here. I just put a kind of temporary fence up here so that way they can be in there, and they seem to be enjoying it pretty good in there. They're really hanging out, making their little sounds. But you can kind of see how it looks from further away. Again, I'm going to put a little roof on it. I just basically let them out there and during the day, so that way they can kind of just enjoy it and have fun in there. And I just put brand new water in. But you can see it's been a couple weeks now, and the pond's staying pretty clean. Just emptied out pretty quickly. Seems to go work pretty good. I still have the other pond down there, but still kind of fill it up, just because it's been 100 degrees the last couple days. So even when I have them in there, I just want to make sure they have a little bit of water to use. Eventually, I'll get rid of that one completely. I'll cover this whole thing here, and then they can just have free run of the whole thing. And maybe I'll probably just leave this little gate open over here all the time. But right now, I just close that little gate, close off this area, So, but anyway, you can see how it turned out. It turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with it, and the ducks seem to be pretty happy with it as well. So, I think I'll call it a wrap for now. Maybe down the road I might put a final picture of how I end up finish off everything. But for now, we'll go ahead and post this video and get it out there so people can maybe do something similar for themselves. Hope you guys like this video. Take care.